Your friends are scrolling through short content, but you, my friend, you're here to learn. Welcome to the RAAAZ Clips. When we speak about people like Mukesh Ambani, okay? Now that man's decision has not only built my career, but the career of everyone in my own industry because of Reliance Jio. And it's not just my careers, it's even my team's careers, etc. So a single man's motivation and unilateral thinking has affected a nation. Can the remaining billionaires in India today actually change the direction of the economy? Or is that a far-fetched thought, or is that an immature thought?
They can and they can't. And this goes back to the unpredictability of history. Ex ante, I cannot know which Mukesh Ambani is going to do what. So if you went back 20 years back, Mukesh Ambani, in fact, was going into the petrochemical business. It was his brother that was going into all this telecom and all this high-tech stuff, right? And that brother, Anil, took risks and he actually went bankrupt, right? And this brother, who was in a completely different sector, veered around and built in an empire into Jio. So the point I'm making to you is history is extremely unpredictable. This Jio, this entire thing you described, you know, if you've gone back 20 years and some Ambani is going to build a Jio type thing, you would have almost certainly predicted that it would be Anil because that was the sector he was going into. So the reason I'm telling you this, and this goes back to the point I was making about Harari as well, always be suspicious of any experts who try and give you a clear view of history. History is mostly foggy.
History is mostly foggy.
Mostly foggy when you look forward. In fact, it's foggy backwards too.
Yeah. Okay. You're saying history as...
But history forward is really foggy. And therefore, the people who really are able to take advantage of it are not the people with the great plans, but the people who are able to take advantage of the opportunities as they emerge.
Okay, got it. That's the big lesson from this episode.
Absolutely.
It's that whole Will Smith quote. He said that when you're trying to build a big house, you don't think about how difficult it will be to build that big house. You just place that first brick in front of you really, really well. And then place the next brick really, really well.
That's more or less it, yes. And along the way, you may have great vision of the house. And sometimes you'll discover you ran out of money, so you have to make do with something smaller. And then somewhere along the way, you make more money, you grow it. And so in some ways, this is how, great civilizations, great countries, great economies are built. Okay. Which goes back to my earlier point that you have to allow free enterprise and the economy to flourish, because if you have this idea of even if you had the most enlightened ruler in the world, but you had a license permit system, it would still fail because that enlightened ruler wouldn't know who to give that license permit out to.
Okay.
I mean, quite apart from the problems of corruption and other things, even if all those things didn't exist, the so-called enlightened ruler would still not be able to succeed in the long run because you wouldn't know who to give those licenses to. So therefore, you have to have a system that is open, where you allow all kinds of ideas, entrepreneurship to happen, knowing fully well that a good proportion of them are going to fail. Which is why I said this whole process is called, there's a word for it, it's called creative destruction. In the Indian tradition, that is basically what Shiva does. Shiva is the god of destruction and also the god of creation as a result. It's the same process.
So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to RAAAZ Clips for more.